Hey everybody, it's Mr. C coming back to you on this wonderful and beautiful Friday, and I've got some STEM lessons for you, and today we are going to make one of these. Now if you have no idea what this is, don't worry, you've come to the right place. If you do know what one of these is, fantastic, we're going to learn how to make one. Now before we get into the lab, I put my materials on the previous slide, and all you're gonna need is some PVC pipe. You're only really going to need about 1 foot. I've got 2 feet of PVC pipe. I recommend at least 1 inch diameter, 1 inch of PVC pipe. Anything bigger is fine. Anything smaller, it gets kind of difficult. I wouldn't go anything smaller than about 1/2 inch, okay? You're also gonna need tubing. Now I'm using clear tubing. This is 1/2 inch diameter clear tubing. Home Depot, Lowe's carries it for about $5, and you get about 10 feet. You're not gonna need 10 feet, you only need about 2 feet. If you don't have this, an old garden hose works well. You wanna make sure the tubing is at least about 1/2 inch. Anything smaller doesn't work that well. You are gonna need some tape. You can use clear tape, duct tape is fine. Obviously some scissors to cut the tubing. And you're going to need 2 containers. I have a container here of water. I dyed it purple because our ocean's gonna be purple. It's really because I didn't have any blue food coloring here. It's not anything like artistic. And then you're gonna need a smaller bowl and something to elevate it. Just like that. All right, so let's get into how we're going to make the Archimedes screw. All right, so you should have your PVC pipe and you should have your tubing ready, scissors, and some tape. Okay, now this is a really easy build. It's actually really fun. The first time I saw an Archimedes screw, like actually really used, it was at a park in Germany, and they used it as a just kind of a teaching tool for kids. You go around and you turn the screw and water moves up. We're gonna talk about why it does that at the end of this. But first, let's go ahead and build our Archimedes screw. So you're gonna take 1 portion of the PVC pipe. Probably gonna wanna get some tape ready, and I like to use duct tape to tape the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead, take a strip of tape, and you wanna make sure that this part, it doesn't need to be directly like horizontal. You want it curved a little bit, just like that. And that is gonna be our bottom, right? That's what's gonna catch the water. Go ahead and slap a piece of tape on there. And there you go. So it should look just like that. Now the rest of this is really easy. All you have to do is just wind the tubing around the PVC pipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over here. You can do it either with the tubing over, or really easy way, just rotate the PVC pipe. Now you wanna make it kind of tight. You don't need to yank on it, but just like this, and you're gonna start to get screwed. Now, in my previous 2nd grade lessons, we actually did an introduction to screws. And we actually learned that a screw is nothing more than an inclined plane just wrapped around an object like this. Screws, if you go into any hardware store, I mean, you can find them at Home Depot, you can find them at Walmart right now. Before I get up on that, once you get it like this, right, it doesn't need to be perfectly even, because if it's not, you can adjust it at the end. So go ahead and take another piece of tape, and I'm gonna hold this down, and I'm gonna take my piece of tape here, and I'm gonna secure it, I'm gonna fasten it right here at the top. And I want it to go a little bit diagonal, kind of like that. And I'm gonna tape it down, and if it doesn't stay all the way down, this tape's kind of old, it's fine. Take another piece of tape. One of Mr. C's rules is there is never enough duct tape. You can never use too much duct tape. All right, and there is your screw. Take your scissors, and you're gonna go ahead and cut off the end, just like that. Now, if you did it like this and the tubing is perfectly spaced out, totally fine. If it's not, this is the time you want to take to make sure the screw is as spaced out as best as you can get it, okay? Now, I recommend taking a piece of tape, and you can use the clear tape. Probably gonna use the duct tape. Oh, there it is. Take a piece of clear tape, and you can just put it right in the center, right? You wanna make sure, that just helps the tubing stay in one spot. All right, so we're pretty much, I mean, this is done, right? And all we have to do is test it. So let's get a closer look. So you're not looking at my face, you're actually getting a really good look at the water and my two bowls, all right? So let's go ahead and get a zoom in, close look at how the Archimedes screw works. All right, so we're back, and I'm gonna go ahead and set my bowl of water. You don't need to use the big overflowing bowl that I did. You just need a little bit so the bottom of your screw is in the water or submerged all the way. So I'm gonna raise up, I've got a glass here, and I'm just gonna put the bowl on top. So now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the water from this bowl to this bowl. We're not gonna dump it, we're gonna use our screw. And this is pretty cool. So what you wanna do, and I'm gonna show you before I put it in the water, you wanna make sure and you're rotating it so the end of the tube is going to catch the water. If you do it this way, right, I mean, that's gonna do nothing but just make a big mess. So you wanna turn it so that water is gonna catch in the screw. Let's test it out. Now I dyed the water purple so you can see it. You can use any food coloring you want. You don't have to use food coloring. It's just really cool to see it travel up the tube. And here we go. Now, if I do it right now, it's gonna make a big mess over here. So I'm gonna scooch this over, and we're gonna catch the water, and you're gonna start to see it travel up. And here we go. And all you need to do is just turn the water. Now, let's take a look. And there it is. Look at, man, that is awesome, right? You're probably like, Mr. C, why are you so excited? Because this is awesome, right? Because we're moving the water using technology from, basically they found this from the 3rd century BC. And they saw this in Egypt, and they actually used it, the Egyptians used this in the 3rd century to transfer water from the Nile River and use it for irrigation. But Archimedes, and you can see I love doing this. Archimedes, he didn't come along till a little bit later, but he is credited with the device, even though the Egyptians came up with it before, but it's still kind of cool. Now, I'm gonna stop it right here, and we're gonna explain what's happening. So as we turn it, the water gets trapped. So right here, the water gets trapped, and as it pushes along, air also gets trapped. And as I rotate, oops, little spill. As I rotate it, the water and the air push it further and further up the screw. Now, you don't have to use PVC pipe. I've seen the ones where it's actually a really, really, really big, it looks like a drill bit, and that works well. The water splashes out. It's not a problem as long as more water is moving up than getting splashed out. But you can see this is actually a pretty efficient way, and all it requires is me turning the screw. Now, I'm gonna get tired of doing this, so you could improve on this, add a crank, They used people to turn it. They used horses, oxen, anything to get water from a lower point up to a higher point. Now the cool thing is they didn't just use this for water. We actually still use it today for water. We also use it for grain. It's a great way to get grain or flour or other things from one lower part to an upper part. And there we go. Now, the question is, can I just hold it vertically? Well, let's try that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let all the water dump out, and I'm just going to try and spin it and see what happens. Okay. Now, as you can see, nothing is really happening, right? Because there's nowhere for the water to go. It's not getting trapped. You can see the water's not going up. Nothing's happening. There's not enough air, not enough water that's getting trapped up there to push it along. So that's why vertically this doesn't work. But you all at home can experiment with this and see, like, obviously it works like this, right? It works pretty well like this. And I'm gonna spin it, spin it, spin it, and here comes more water, right? And there we go. What angle, right, can I put this until it stops trapping water? Let me try it. That's pretty high, right? That still works, right? And that's a great project for you 4th and 5th graders, right? Take out a measuring tool, maybe like a protractor, and see how high can you get. I can tell you about right there, it'll probably, there you go. So you can experiment. How high can I get this to go before it stops working? Pretty cool, right? All right, hey, let's head on over, and I want to explain, I'm going to show you other examples of Archimedes Screw. Pretty cool. I'm going to show you some examples, and we'll go ahead and finish up our lab. So, hey. All right, everybody, that's our lab, and I'm going to leave you with 3 examples of Archimedes screws. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click subscribe, and we'll see you next time for some more STEM.